tonight's little soiree. We are, as I said, in Montreal in 1670. Now, at the time, Montreal was not known as Montreal. It was known as Ville-Marie. It says 1755 there because I'm dumb and I didn't update the map, but it is the same map as when we did the 1755. I've updated, but I'm dumb. Montreal, or Ville-Marie, as it was called, is a city of vigor and ambition, a bustling heart of New France, pressed between the untamed wilderness and the slow steel-gray sweep of the St. Lawrence River. Built on the island where the river narrows, Montreal rises in tiers of steep wooden roofs and stone-built homes. Their chimneys smoking even in the early hours. Cobblestone streets wind between sturdy warehouses, Catholic chapels, and garrison forts, all crowd behind thick palisades, sharpened logs. By day, the town is alive with the clamor of trade. Fur traders, or coureurs des bois as they are known, or voyageurs, all bundles of pelts from canoes tied to the riverbanks. The sharp scent of tanned hides and burning pitch mingles with the sweetness of baking bread and pipe smoke. Blacksmiths hammer their forge, sparks flying in the brisk morning air, while women in linen skirts carry water, gossip, and goods from the market square. Children run laughing between carts, chased by dogs and shouted at by merchants in French and Spanish. Ships from France offload barrels of wine and musket shot. Soldiers drill in Place d'Armes, while farmers from the seigneurie trade grain for tools and salt. Montreal is no longer a frontier village, it's the nerve center of the fur trade, a city teeming with ambition, sweat, and the hard rhythm of survival. This is where we meet les filles du roi, the king's daughters. Approximately 800 young French women who were sent from France to New France between 1665 and 1673 as part of a program sponsored by King Louis XIV. The program was designed to boost New France's population, both by encouraging Frenchmen to move to the New World and by promoting marriage, family formation, and the birth of French children in the colony. The term refers to those women and girls who were recruited by the government and whose travel to the colony was paid for by the king. They were also occasionally known as the King's Wards. These girls have found a home for themselves at La Maison Saint-Gabriel. It is a small stone house that still stands to this day, in fact, in Montreal, and where the girls are taken care of by a nun by the name of Marguerite Bourgeois, who founded the very first school in the New World, and eventually down the years went on to be canonized as a saint, in fact the first female saint in the New World. For now, we find Marguerite, not a saint yet, but working on it, walking along the canal road towards La Maison Saint-Gabriel. Marguerite is extremely well known, very popular figure in the town. Everyone stops to say hello. People bring gifts for her to take to La Maison Saint-Gabriel, either little bits and pieces of pastries or food, or sometimes books, things of that nature. She is, in fact, quite revered in the city of Montreal at this particular time, and even down the years. And as we find Marguerite arriving at the house, Marguerite, you find yourself a bit alarmed as you approach the Maison Saint-Gabriel and see that the front door is open and a number of the girls are out in the streets looking quite distraught, trying to get some help from passerbys and so on and so forth, and really kind of looking like some sort of terrible event has just occurred. What do you do as you approach the house?
I think she obviously clocks instantly that something is off, and she's going to try to usher the girls back inside as she's moving inside looking for anyone that can explain to her perhaps what's going on.
You see one of the young women who helps you here. She's not a nun, and she's not one of les filles du roi. Her name is Cerise, and she's just kind of a maid here. She has a good head on her shoulder, and you can see her already kind of trying to calm down the other girls, kind of trying to get control of the situation, and looking like she's about to kind of lose control, as the girls, like I said, seem very, very upset with it.
I imagine that Marguerite moves in a flourish of all of these heavy robes that she wears as a nun. And while being a kind woman who looks over all of these girls, she also can very easily become a severe woman, especially when confronted with some kind of danger or problem regarding her girls. That maternal instinct kind of kicks in for her. So I would imagine she rushes over to Cerise and is not necessarily frantic, but there's a little worry on her face amid that severeness she holds, and would say something along the lines of, "Why are my girls in the street, Cerise? What is happening?"
Sister, something terrible. Monsieur Henrie came here, not but 1 hour ago. He forced his way inside. I told him that you weren't here, and that you wouldn't want him to be to be entering the house without being here. But he said that you knew and that you had sanctioned this. He looked at me. It was very strange. I don't know why, but I suddenly felt compelled to open the door and let him in. I know we're not supposed to open the door at night, but I don't know what came over me. He seemed so sure of himself and so trustworthy, and I'm sorry, sister. I failed you. I failed the girls. I'm so sorry.
Shh, Cerise, it's all right. And she takes a deep breath and places her hands on the shoulders of the young maid. It's all right.
He came in, and he looked at some of the girls. Many of them were bathing. Some had already gone to sleep, but there were a few dozen of them in the main rooms. He went around the house, and he looked at all of them, and to some of them, maybe a dozen or so, he said, "Follow me," and they did. They lined up, and he had 2 other men with him, and they stayed outside. They didn't do anything. They just looked mean, and he went to these girls and he said, "Follow me," and they did, one after the other. They all just stepped out into the night behind him, and he led them on down the road, and they disappeared, all of them. I yelled after him. I begged for them to stay. I told them that you certainly would not condone this, and they wouldn't even listen. They just walked on down towards the port.
Right. Well, sometimes we can't help what happens, but I need you now to go find Maman Monique and warn her of what has happened. I think she will know what to do in this scenario.
Should we get the soldiers, perhaps?
Do as I say, Cerise. And please get these girls back into the house and safe.
Yes, of course. Allez les filles, and she starts kind of hurting them, and then she kind of looks over and she goes, Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You're not gonna go after him, are you?
They are my wards and my responsibility. I am going to go retrieve my girls.
You mustn't, Monsieur Henrie. I didn't think him a dangerous man, but certainly the two that were with him looked dangerous, and it was so strange. You mustn't go, sister. Please.
She approaches Cerise again and takes her hands in her own and holds them. Then let us pray that God is on my side.
God is always on your side, Sister Marguerite. You are one of his favorite children, and she takes your hand and kisses them, and I'll pray for your safe return and the safe return of our girls.
Now do as I ask, Cerise. Please, it is important.
Of course. I'll go tell Mama Monique right away, and she ushers the other girls in here, and then kind of gathering up all her skirts and everything. When one last look at you, takes off towards the market quarter where she knows she will find Mama Monique. What do you do?
Marguerite will make her way from the house, and as she does, she will pull out her rosary and begin praying upon the beads as she walks towards the port.
Meanwhile, as you walk towards the port, at an inn called l'Arche Dieudonné, near the port, actually, in the very top floor, the sun is not quite yet set. This is a little bit before what happened at La Maison Saint-Gabriel. The horizon to the west still has a little bit of that redness of the sun going down at night, and upon the rooftop we find two women who absolutely look like they have traveled the world to get here. One of them is a woman named Asnath El-Bakir. She is dressed in simple wraps of flowery, earthly colors, and her skin is a dark brown. Her eyes also black and just brilliant with inner power and inner fire. She stands on the rooftop of the inn with somebody else. Give us a little description, perhaps, Amar?
Well, it's only been about 2 years since we've last seen Amar. She was known as the Pirate Queen, or the Viper, last we saw her in London. And she hasn't really shed that persona fully. She does look a bit weather-beaten. She looks as though she's been on the seas for quite some time. Her hair's trussed up and she's got several earrings on, and she's dressed more like a man of the ages, so in breeches and things, but like more dockhand sort of appearance. And she looks rather peckish at the moment.
You are sitting cross-legged on the rooftop. It has been centuries since you've seen even this much of the sun. You sit there focusing on the mantras and the words that Asenath has taught you, turning in on yourself, turning in on your beast, calming it down. You can feel it stirring. You can feel the hunger that sort of ripples through you, but you are focused on keeping it at bay, and you marvel, perhaps also mingled with a bit of fear, at how much of the sun you are seeing. Asenath seems not bothered by it at all, and in her teachings to you of the path of Golconda, she has said that one day you might be able to, in fact, not have to find sustenance on the blood of humans or be able to withstand the sun for longer periods of time. But right now, in this particular instance, you are doing everything you can not to freak out and go off running, as that ingrained fear of the sun rattles around in your brain. But she has put a bowl made of copper, hammered copper, in your lap, and you reach out and hold it, and feeling still your beast kind of already on the edge, you hear it growl as Asenath cuts herself in the palm of her hand, and her rich elder canite vitae drips into the bowl. The smell of it ensnares you right away, and you feel almost tendrils of it reaching down into the very core of you, awakening your beast and drawing it out, and you start to shake almost as this thing is trying to rouse inside of you. Would you do me a rouse check?
Well, that was a 2.
Unfortunately, that is a failure. You feel yourself about to lose control. You feel the beast sort of rising in front of you. What does that look like? What would Asenath see as she watches this beast awaken deep inside of you?
Well, Amar has these sort of cat-like eyes, and she would see the pupils constrict and become slits. And she'd see her Amar's fangs extend, and they're lethal looking. They look rather like a snake's that come down. She's got a set that come up as well. And as she opens her mouth, you see that her jaw can sort of unhinge a little and kind of open wider than is natural. It's quite an intimidating experience, except for the fact that this is an elder kindred in front. Yeah.
And she waits as you fight against the beast and try as much as you can to control it, but just a moment before it's about to reach out and erupt out of you and force you to jump on her to try and drink her blood, she reaches out with her hand and touches your forehead and then brings her hand to your heart, and you feel kind of strange warmth spread through you. And she says, as she does this, and as you feel your beast calm down and sort of regress away, she says, the most important thing to remember, Amar, is that you are not the beast, and it is not you. It is something alien, a curse that has been placed inside of you, but it is not you. As long as you can remain in control of yourself, you can prevent it from awakening. You are the one who is in control. There are ways to help. I will teach them to you, but you have to remember at all times, never doubt that you are the one who is in control. It will latch on to any doubt that you have, any fear that you have. You must not fear the sun, the flame. You must not give it a purchase. Handhold. How do you feel now?
Amar's fangs are retreating back into her mouth, and her pupils are sort of going back to their normal shape, just very slowly. And she just blinks a few times. Is this supposed to be some sort of mind trick? I've been starved for 2 weeks now.
the teaching of Osiris, teachings of the sun, show us that there is still such a big part of us that remains human, even as we lose ourselves with the darkness. But that part of you that is human is still there, and the path that you are embarking on now is one that will guide you back to it and will help you strengthen it. And the more you strengthen it, the more you will return to its roots. You will never be mortal or human again, but you can come very, very close to it. You can relinquish this thirst for blood. You can relinquish your fear of the sun. There are many steps on this path. This is just the first one. If you're willing to continue studying with me, I will teach you. I find, however, Amar, that it is not just blood. There's something that worries at the beast inside of you, some anger, some emotional disturbance. What grieves you so? I know you never really wish to speak of it, but perhaps it might help. The path to the light is difficult enough without carrying a weight of darkness around your heart. What troubles you so?
Have you ever been in love?
Yes, a very long time ago, but I remember it well enough. That what troubles you?
I suppose it's less that I'm troubled by it and more so just vexed, hexed, trampled, pinned, overwhelmed, like being thrown overboard in the middle of the black ocean. I can't tell which way is up or down. And every now and again there's an undertow that rips me underneath the water and turns me upside down. And I come up gasping for breath again. And she's just so beautiful. She's the most extraordinary person I've ever met. Intelligent, kind, curious, a bit of a pig sometimes. Well, certainly in her stint in London, but I marvel at her bravery and her rashness. And it just seems now and again and again and again we are just torn asunder, sort of like colliding galaxies that will never merge. I guess that's what love is, isn't it? Something painfully fucking boring. Apologies.
How can something that has such a powerful hold be boring? If your path is meant to intersect hers again, you will find her, perhaps. Once you have progressed along the path of Golconda, you might be in a better place. Reach out to her, be with her. Is that what you were leaving behind when we met in London?
Yes, and I ask myself time and again, what the purpose of it was. I know there's things that need doing and people that need rescuing, and everybody's getting themselves into some sort of scrap or another, and somehow we are the ones who have to fix it. But gods, what I wouldn't give for some sort of cottage out in the middle of the Scottish Highlands with no one to fucking bother us but our sheep and our dogs. Wouldn't that be lovely?
And why do you think you can't have that?
Well, she's a princess, isn't she?
Well, you know how to pick them.
Well, you should have seen the cock on her previously. I do know how to pick them.
You were a pirate queen. Wouldn't a pirate queen be suitable for princess?
Perhaps, but if you'll forgive my lewdness, I believe she's the one with the peg leg as to her.
I've been meaning to say that, and as she says that, you hear someone down in the alley below screaming her name, and she looks over. She says, looks like that we'll have to wait. Mama Monique downstairs, something has happened. Let me go speak to her. And she rushes down the ladder that's back to the roof. The darkness is now completely fallen. It is now full on night as she hurries down the ladder. Do you do these step there? Do you?
No, I'd be following along. Probably glance out over at the horizon just to kind of catch the last glimmer of twilight before it goes fully dark.
And to your chagrin, you realize you missed it. You just missed it, and it's now fully dark again.
So it goes.
You slip downstairs and you find this woman named Mama Monique, who is kind of a local patron saint a little bit, especially from those who've come here from the islands and from parts far away. She approaches Asenath with quite a look of worry on her face. Does Amar speak any French whatsoever?
Yes, Amar would speak French, given the region that she is from and given the current delightful activity called colonization. So yes, she would be speaking French lightly.
They speak in French, and Mama Monique breathlessly and very quickly explains that there are some girls somewhere that were in the care of some religious woman named Marguerite Bourgeois, that some man she suspects, she says, to be of the night, has come and taken some of them away, and that the nun, who is someone quite revered, whose name you've heard mentioned throughout the city of Marguerite Bourgeois, has gone off to find them on her own. And Mama Monique pleads with Asenath to help in this particular instance, and Asenath turns to you and she goes, well, we're being asked to help.
Cet homme, il va revenir pour les autres filles. He's going to come back for the other girls.
Oui. Tu veux aller au port? Voir, tu peux trouver la sœur Bourgeois. Go down to the port. You might be able to find Sister Bourgeois there. I will go to the house and make sure the other girls are okay in case the man returns. I've heard of this man, Monsieur Henrie. He's definitely canine. Be wary of him. I believe he is of Set's brood.
Je suis le seul serpent ici. I'm the only snake that we really need to worry about, love. Don't worry. I'll find this man. And I'll lop his head off if I've got to.
And Mama Monique explains to you where in the port you might find his hideout. She says that he has a group of men. She says to look for stones adorned with a black lily, Fleur de Lys Noire, that's his mark, and that his organization uses it to indicate places of interest to them and some of their holdings. Asenath bids you be careful. She reminds you that it's been a while since you've fed, so to be mindful of that.
Very well. I will keep it together.
And so you find yourself, Amar, arriving in the port of Montreal. It is late at night. There are quite a number of ships in the port currently. Most of them flying the French flag, but a few from other places. Men move back through the place. There's a lamplighter that you recognize, a young man who is, a Canaanite also, the Nosferatu. He is the lamplighter in the city. His name is Chauvet, and he's going around lighting lamps as he goes. You move through the port, stick into the shadows, very quickly and efficiently. Would you do me the pleasure, the honor of giving me a, let's call it a larceny roll.
Remind me, because it's been an eternity, what the actual fuck do I roll?
You're going to roll 1d10 now. You're going to roll 1d10, and you currently are sitting at 4 hunger. Pretty bad. So you're going to roll a d10, and you're going to add 4 dice, which are going to be your hunger dice. To your d10, you're going to add your mental, which is 3, and a +1 for your larceny, because you have the skill. What you don't want is you don't want to roll any ones on the hunger dice.
Oh god. Oh wait, because we have so many lovely people dropping bits and things in the chat. Can I use some of those, because I'm going to fuck this up because we know how I am with dice.
What I would allow you to do is you could spend, how many advantages are we at involved? You could spend an advantage to remove a hunger dice from the roll, which I think will probably be more useful than adding dice, because you're not as worried about succeeding as you're at
not failing, right?
No, yeah, exactly. Not rolling it. So, Varl, if you can remind us where we're at with.
We have 10 each right now.
10 each.
Whoa!
You could spend. You can't roll less than 1 hunger dice. You could spend 3 and just get rid of 3 hunger dice, and then you could even spend 4 and get 4 dice for advantage on.
I'm going to, because everybody's so nice, I'm going to spend 4, and I'm going to get rid of 3 hunger die and take 2 regular die and 1 hunger die.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. I have to stay in this accent, otherwise I'll lose it. So I'm going to roll. It's likely going to be crap, which is a running joke, so we'll see. Wow, that's hilarious. How many successes did I... What do I do?
Take the regular d10 that rolled the highest and add 4 to it.
Oh, great. That's 7. And I did not end up getting a failure on my hunger die, because I had to get a 1 to fail, right? Good, so good. Look at that. I did not fail. Thank you all.
And 7 is good, because your target is a 6. So 7 is good enough that within a few moments of arriving at the port, you start noticing the black lily, the Fleur de Lys Noire, on some crates. And so you kind of follow along, and eventually you'll see one of the docks, one of the piers is marked with it. And you can tell the difference because there are a lot of fleur-de-lis, of course, because this is a French port. There are a lot of them, but these are very different. They're kind of bigger and more ornate, and they are stained black. And you eventually will see when they appear, and when you move close to it, you can see that there's a set of wooden stairs that goes down under the pier. And when you step down underneath there, you can see that there's kind of a stone tunnel that's been built there that goes all the way inside the port. And on the edge of this, you do see again a black lily that has been carved into stone.
Well. Looks like we're on the right path here. Looking around, do I see anything else of note?
Go ahead and let's do some rolls since we got we've got a lot of so you're going to make another mental roll, and this time you're going to use your insight, which you also have as a skill. So you're going to roll a d10 plus your hunger die, and you're going to your mental to that, so +4. I am going to say that the advantages, the 9 moves you spent to relay your hunger are going to last for the scene. So you don't have to worry about your hunger scene.
Okay, great. So 1 hunger die, and then I can opt to add an advantage one. Okay, I'm going to add an advantage. I'm going to do that. Great. Let's change this. Great. Oh, bugger it. Well, I got a 7 again, but I got a 1 on my hunger die because that's how I roll.
Excellent. Yeah, it is. So, first of all, thanks so much, Black Sun Gaming. You're incredible. Really appreciate your support. Thanks so much. The other night, also, I didn't really get the chance on Friday to say thank you because I was kind of super focused, but I did want to take the time to say thank you for all your support last Friday and also for tonight. So thanks for dropping by and for being so supportive of us. We would greatly appreciate it. What you're going to end up realizing is that you are way too hungry and are about to get a 5th hunger die. So what I'm going to allow you to do is spend a willpower point to prevent yourself. You're going to be at 5 hunger, but you can kind of prevent yourself from frenzying for the rest of the scene, but you're going to have to drink before the end of the scene, or you're going to go into a hunger frenzy.
Right, I deserve that.
But with your success, you do notice several things. You see several footsteps, pairs of footsteps. There's a lot of people that have kind of come and gone here, and many of them you realize are women's shoes or women's boots kind of thing. So you step in and you walk very quietly down this tunnel, and it goes on for a little while. It's just this kind of circular stone tunnel, basically that evacuates water that amasses on the docks and on the port and kind of throws it back into and eventually you climb up a little incline, and then you find yourself on the wooden platform, and you enter what appears to be like some kind of smuggling hole, perhaps a place where they can bring in some contraband before people see it from the ship, that kind of thing. And as you approach it, you can clearly sense that there were people here. You smell the fact that there were a number of women here and other people, but the only thing you see as you approach it, as you approach the interior of this place, is lying on the ground. There's a shape, what appears to be a woman, perhaps a nun by her garb, lying on the floor with quite a bit of blood that has spilled down. Now, your willpower point that you've spent already to restrain your hunger will be will keep you okay for the rest of the scene, like I said, but you are kind of focusing on the things that Asenath has told you and whatnot to not lose it as you approach this body that's lying there. What do you?
I would just probably take a quick glance around to make sure that we're not in danger, and I look to Asenath and I say,
Right, Asenath
oh,
is
she's not here. Oh, apologies. I thought she was with me.
No, you were just reminding yourself of what she said to you.
Right, it was the totally fucked roll that sent my brain out. I rush over and I check to see if she's alive.
You roll her over, and you can see she's a nun from her clothing and like she wears and everything. You can also immediately see as you come to her that she has just been turned. She's just been embraced. The blood has flown freely from bite marks in her neck, and even though she is pale and sense her breathing over a heartbeat and see her eyes moving, you know that she is probably going to be pretty close to frenzy and when she wakes up. Is there anything you would like to do?
Do I see anyone around? Is there anyone else nearby?
No, there's no one else. They seem to all have fled.
I think that I would pull out the dagger from my boot and kind of prep myself if she got squirrely on me, because it's going to be a battle of hunger if that's the case. So I think I'd prep myself and then I'd sort of try and rouse her if I could.
You absolutely can. I think even though you are hungry, so one of the things to remember is that in this system, being hungry doesn't mean you don't have the beast hungry. So you could conceivably offer a little bit of your blood to try and bring her out of the kind of semi-torpor that she, but that's also kind of activate her.
What's life without a little risk? So I would just kind of run a slit along the back of my arm and bring her head to it with the full like clamp on the like back of the occipital bone, just to make sure she doesn't get like a cat out of pocket, and just yank her if I need to.
Marguerite, you are swimming in darkness. You're faintly aware of a stirring deep inside your chest, like a deep hunger, but then there's this scent of something miraculous, marvelous, something incredibly potent that just fills your nostrils, and before you even realize what's going on, your eyes have opened, your mouth is open wide, and I'm going to give you a chance to kind of resist this a little bit, but you're probably not going to be able to resist it for very long. But if you wish to, go ahead, and I see that you have a total of 4 willpower. So go ahead and roll me a d10 and add 4 to it.
That's an 8.
Excellent. So as your eyes open, you see this woman you've never seen before, sort of hovering over you, and you are immediately overtaken by this rich smell that seems to be coming from her arm. Because you got your success on your willpower roll, I will give you an opportunity to kind of resist right now the urge to just jump on her and start feeding. And on top of that, that kind of the fact that you want to do that obviously kind of sickens you and scares you. But what do you do as you kind of come to and you wake up, you open your eyes, you see all this, and you can kind of hold back, but there's something very strange that's going on right now, and you are certainly very afraid and very confused. What would Amar sort of see as you awaken out of this sort of torpor that you?
Kato, Amar has like her wrist essentially pressed to her mouth, Yeah, I think she sees the nun's eyes go wide as saucers, and she starts to scramble backwards away from you, but you're holding her head, right? Yeah, so it's kind of this futile attempt to scramble from your powerful hold, and she's gasping against your wrist as she's doing so. Fear.
How do you respond to that?
Does it look like she might slip out of my grip?
I think you realize you're way stronger than I think your biggest fear is that if she frenzies and she's not able to get to you, she might start hearing hers.
I, having just had this done on myself, I place a hand on her chest, and I'd like to use Bardo.
You need to make a rouse check for this. Hopefully you won't fail it.
Go fuck yourself, Blake.
Do you want to spend some advantages, roll some extra dice?
Yes, I would like to do that. So what? Tell me what I'm going to fucking roll, because I'm so goddamn hungry. It's changed every time.
It's just a regular rouse check, so it's just one dice, but you need to roll 6 or higher on it. So if you want to spend some points and get more dice to get a chance.
Okay, we've got 6. I'm gonna spend 2 night moves and pray that one of these comes up higher than... Okay, let's see. No whammies. Well, how about that? I got a 6, a 7, and an 8.
All your good rolls for the night.
All my good rolls for one rouse check.
You feel something very strange, Margaret, because when she reaches out and touches you, immediately you feel the hunger abate, you feel the fear dissipate, you feel the stirring in your chest kind of go down, but the closest thing you can kind of liken it to is, one, it feels like the warmth of the sun, like that first beautiful day of sunshine in the spring when the sun is being down and you just turn your face towards it and kind of take all that warm glory in. But it also feels in many ways kind of akin to when you feel the presence or the touch of God, or like when you have just finished praying, or that you're doing something that you know is really in accordance with what his wishes are, and you feel that kind of lightness in your heart that comes with being righteous, basically being right. And Miss Francis is also being very righteous right now. You feel that's what happens, and you feel all that kind of fear and sort of anger and hunger fade away.
Would this calm me in a way that it would compel me to continue to feed, or it's just... is that hunger also dissipating?
So it will basically calm it down. So the hunger really comes from the beast kind of awakening. So this kind of calms it down. So for now, even though you are at a very high hunger level and you're kind of low-key hungry, you don't feel the pressing urge to do it. You know, it's kind of like when you're really hungry and you slam back a couple glasses of water. It's still there, but you're kind of okay for a little.
Kiddo, you would feel Marguerite kind of slacken again in your hold, her eyes calming from those wide saucers and looking up to you in a mixture of question, but there's just this kind of almost like a drowsiness that comes over her looking up to you.
Are you all right?
I don't think so. I followed a man here to look for my girls, and when I got here, I saw the cave, and it was so dark. I just kept telling myself how scared my girls must be, and that God's grace would be with me, and so I just had to move inside. I had to keep moving. I know that God walks with me. And when I came inside, I heard a slithering sound. It was like the serpent of the book, the devil himself. And then I heard him whisper right in my ear, "Let God save you from this." And then I felt a sharp pain in my neck. What's going on? Who are you?
I'm going to explain everything to you, but first, you've got to eat something, and you're not going to like it at all.
She touches her lip and kind of draws away and looks at your blood on her finger. Why was I doing that?
Again, I will explain everything to you, but if I try to explain it to you now, well, quite frankly, I think you might lose your mind.
What do I need to do?
Stay here for just a moment. And I glance around. Is there anybody about right now? Any dock hands or people wandering? Or
No, not down here. You're in this kind of hidden smuggler's cove, but the port was full of them. You have to go outside, and you would certainly be fine.
Marguerite, just stay put for just a moment. And I crawl back out and make my way along the docks, looking for, well, anyone who might be alone or unawares, anyone who might be around that I could kind of surreptitiously make my way to.
So go ahead and I'm not going to make you do a test for finding someone, because there's people all around. It's night, so it's easy enough to find a stevedore or something, someone who's kind of isolated, and to kind of grab them. The first one that you find, so, you know, in airplanes they always say put your mask on first before helping somebody else, but what are you going to do? Are you going to just nab one and kind of try to drag them back to the little cave, or are you going to slake your own hunger first?
Am I correct that a kindred bite is sealed by saliva?
Yes. However, I will here remind you of the particular curse of the Lamia.
Oh, right.
Which when you carry a curse called the Seed of Lilith, which is a very plague-like pox or disease that can infect those from whom you feed, especially if they are men. It always kills after a few days, and they can remain infected and spread it to others. Guaranteed, if you bite one and then bring that to Marguerite to drink, that she... So,
right.
You're kind of in that particular...
Well, I'm not about to spit in this nun's food, so I think takeaway is probably the order of events. And maybe I'm going to look for 2 lads if I can find them.
So what I will do is, because you only heard the one, it's fun to hurt you a little bit. I'm going to make you do a combat to see if you can subdue 2 of them, and it will be like an all-encompassing thing. So you'll do a combat roll. If you succeed, you subdue 2 of them, you don't draw attention, and you can kind of drag them back to the cave with you. You still have now. This is where it's going to get interesting and funny for you, because you're going to make a physical plus combat, which is great because that means you have a +8. You're pretty much guaranteed to succeed. However, this being a different scene, your hunger has returned. So you are looking at rolling a regular die plus 5 hunger dice. You can do like you did last time, which is to spend advantages to negate some of those hunger dice.
I just want to say for the record that I hate you when you're sleeping on the couch tonight. No, it's okay. Okay, so I've got 5 hunger die. Okay, so
You have 8 advantages.
Yes. So if I burn 4 of those, I negate 4 hunger die. And I only have the 1 hunger die. Right? Okay. I know how math works. And I'm going to burn actually 5 so I can get 1 advantage and 1 hunger die. So yes, I'll be down to 3. So thank you all for the advantages. So I didn't fuck this up. I've got 8, is that right?
And no 1s on the hunger dice?
No 1 on the hunger die.
Oh, happy day.
I got 11.
Perfect. So after a few moments, you manage to subdue 2 men. You find 2 that were kind of walking together, and you jump them at the same time. They don't seem like they were coming back from the tavern or anything. They don't appear drunk. They're maybe just like going home from work, working late on unloading a ship or something. They're 2 pretty stout boys. You managed to grab them, and with your supernatural strength, managed to kind of haul them off down into the cavern with you. Now, meanwhile, Marguerite, what have you been doing? It's taken a little bit longer than you might have expected. She's been gone like a bit of time now. You really have no clue where anyone is or sort of where you are. Do you do anything in particular, or maybe you just sit and... What's Marguerite doing in that game?
I think when Amar is like leaving her initially, she's just kind of sitting there like a helpless puppy, like very confused, looking around. And I think she'll wait patiently for some time, kind of getting her bearings about her. In her current state, is she weakened in any way in her current state?
No, in fact, you find that you feel kind of pretty spry. You feel like you're very... if you could get rid of this gnawing hunger that you have, you feel like you're feeling pretty strong, and like, you know, certainly more so than you've been in the...
I think it takes her a little time. She sits there and kind of recounts the things that happened leading up to this moment of reawakening, and then recounting what the fuck she just did and saw in that moment, the things she felt. And eventually she would get to her feet and begin to kind of move out of this cave, becoming impatient because now, you know, the thought of her girls is still very much so at the forefront of her mind.
As you walk out then of this cave, you follow the little, wooden platform, and then go down into the tunnel, and your feet are splashing, and your skirts and your dress are all completely drenched in water right now as you're kind of walking in a little sewer thing. You climb out, and as you kind of turn, you see Amar dragging to you what appeared to be 2 dead bodies. 2 men, quite strapping, powerfully built, shipper, loaders and unloaders of ships. And she's basically just got each. How are you doing it, Amar? How are you bringing these 2 fellers down the stairs with you?
Oh, I mean, I've got like a headcanon thing that maybe they were rude to her at some point. So like she's full on scruff them on the back, and just like their knees are like bashing on the stonework on the way down. It's like just like very aggressively carrying in takeout bags.
Marguerite like stumbles backwards a few paces, and seeing this very audibly gasps, and then like draws the sign of the cross.
It's all right. It's all right. I brought you some food.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I said you weren't going to like it, and quite frankly, I'm fucking starving, and we can't eat from the same person. So, and I just lob the one in my right hand to her feet, and I just full snake fangs out, sink into the one I've got in my left hand, and just go to town on him.
When you say go to town, could you describe with a little bit more color what that exactly entails?
So I've got this feature, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, where I essentially, you remember that scene in Nosferatu where he's feeding, and I've pulled this man's head, tilted his head back, and I've latched my fangs on this like large serpent mouth, and it's like encased the entire arterial span, and I just suck with like 3 or 4 pulls and drain him completely, and you can even see that the body is starting to compress in on itself from the suction of it, and the sheer force of it. And as I dislodge my fangs, there's very little blood left on my face, and there's very little blood left on his neck, and you can see that there are these kind of gangrenous blackish green looking wounds on the neck, and you can see that the corpse itself has got this sort of sickly, almost like leprous looking infection at this point. And I pause for a moment, and I huck him aside, and I look at Marguerite, and I say, I'm really quite sorry. I know you've had a really rough night, but you're going to need to eat.
Lose a point of humanity, Marguerite.
Oh, cool, thanks.
Marguerite or Amar?
Not Amar. Amar's fine.
Oh.
Just witnessing this.
Sorry.
There is no.
You hear her under her breath, just God in heaven above. And she's kind of moving backwards from this body you tossed at her feet. Bleak, my question to you is, the scent of this blood being drank in front of her, would this recompel her hunger? Would she be feeling it?
Especially since you were at 5 and you held it at bay with willpower earlier. Thank you for a subscription, Fosco. Thanks for dropping by. I'm actually going to say that you probably full-on frenzy at this point. You are at 5 hunger, and you've kind of held it at bay, but now the horror of seeing what you just saw, and suddenly just that smell of blood and everything, it just completely overpowers you. You have no control, and your beast just kind of rears out. So if you'd like to describe to us what that looks like as the nun goes wild.
Yeah. Real quick question, Kato. How did Amar subdue these guys? Did she like knock him on the head or anything? Or is this man in front of me bloodied at all? No.
No. She squeezed him so hard by the neck and just dragged him along.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's bruised, but he's not bloodied in any capacity. She didn't want to ruin your meal.
Oh, that's so nice of her. Yeah, I think this, since she's frenzying, this becomes a very feral action. She just saw this man get devoured in front of her, and I too will make a movie reference. If you've ever seen the film Let the Right One In, the tunnel scene where the vampire literally leaps on the man and just sinks their mouth into them, and it's just this feral creature almost. She just drops to all fours on this man and sinks into him, and there's just this sickening sucking sound coming from her as she's draining him. And I imagine, because she's never done this before, and the beast has taken over, it is quite messy. She's a messy eater right now.
Indeed it is. I'm going to assume that, Amar, you killed yours.
Oh yes, we don't spread disease.
So you're going to get 5 hunger needed. Marguerite, this feels amazing. This feels incredible. Literally nothing. If you sat down and had perfect recall of everything that's happened in your... Nothing, not even the grace of God or hearing God or feeling God's presence has been this satisfying. And especially, we don't know that much about the private life of Marguerite Bourgeois, but I'm going to assume that sex wasn't on the menu that often. There's these new feelings that are awoken inside of you. You have no words for them, and it just kind of
say maybe
over.
Marguerite needs a cigarette now.
Give her a cigar. What I will ask you though is this: as you get near the end of draining this feller, when you've kind of regained a little bit of control because you fed and all that, you will have enough control, I will say, to realize that he's about to die, and that if you don't stop, he will die. So I want to know if there's still enough human inside of you right now to think about trying to stop or not. If, like, fuck it, it's my birthday.
I think that Sister Marguerite is a nun and not a doctor, first and foremost. So I think maybe she doesn't quite know that she's killing him. I think on a fundamental level she understands, but I'm gonna say the beast fully takes over on this one, and she does not stop.
Very well. So you will slay
for the sake of the story.
Sake of the story. Poor Margaret Bourgeois. If we were to unearth her right now, we would find her laying on her abdomen. You will slake 5 hungers. You lose another humanity. You will be stunned. Literally, after it's done, you will kind of fall on your tuchus, just kind of sitting there, seeing this kind of desiccated husk in front of you. Knowing how horrible, how monstrous, how evil what you've just done is, and yet not caring one whit. Feeling so good and so incredible about it that you're almost kind of wondering what else you've missed. How could you, and there is at some point certainly going to be some major reckoning for your soul, but right now the awesomeness of how this feels kind of puts all the other little voices away in a little dark corner. Find yourself kind of thrilled at it, just as the Catholic guilt's gonna come back. Catholic guilt always comes back.
Yeah, that never goes away, bud. I think you see Marguerite She was previously on all fours, arched back, just going to town on this man. And then she kind of rises and sits back very slowly onto her knees. And she's looking down at this, and she's almost has this like dreamy expression on her face. And because she was so messy, I imagine she has just this big smear of blood around her maw, and she's taking her fingers and swiping it through and sticking them into her mouth and like sucking every last drop clean as she's looking down to him in a mixture of complete enjoyment and just elation at this feeling of fullness and completeness from sating all of that hunger at once. Marguerite's not home right now, Mrs. Torrance.
I was just about to. How do you feel?
I feel like I've been touched by the light of God himself.
Right.
I will say that in the darkness, your eyes have changed.
Well, perhaps you'd like to sit down. There are some things you'll need to know about your new way of life, shall we say?
Hearing your voice and kind of registering, like, you know, this earlier conversation in that voice, and it kind of slowly, the realizations slowly slip into her countenance, and you see that that elation kind of dissipate into a confusion, deep concern as her eyes trail up from the body into you. What am I?
You are immortal now. With provisions.
Marguerite looks down to her hands, and they're coated in this man's blood. This is an affront to God.
You're beyond God now. Cursed by him. In fact, if the legends are true, the sun and fire are your mortal enemies. But all else will fail, much like the years, much like daylight now.
And I am immortal, and I will never see the kingdom of heaven. And the sun which I love so dearly. You're saying it'll never touch my flesh again. And if that is the case, then I will wipe away the sin myself with the dawn.
That is for you to decide, sister. But bear in mind that I believe God views that as a mortal sin as well. Right now, in this moment, there are 12 innocent women that need your help. Let us find them together. We could see what good could be wrought from this curse. If morning comes, and you still wish to see the sun one more time, I will help you.
Do you know of the girls? You see a softness re-enter her eyes.
I do. That's why I came here. I found you near dead. Those girls are innocent and taken by, well, to use your words, an abomination against God. One, I imagine, of the highest order. While we all might be monsters in and of ourselves, there are those among us who are worse than others, and those of us who, despite our afflictions, attempt to do some modicum of good in this world.
This is truly a curse. The gates won't open for me. Do you know where he took those girls?
I am not sure, but I have... Well, I certainly could pick up the trail. I know ships, and I imagine he's got designs for these women.
I would like to go to the water first and absolve this sin off my skin, and then I would like for you to take me to those girls, to find them. If I cannot go with God, then I will protect those that he still loves.
Perhaps that is enough for your salvation. I, for one, feel that it's what we do with our time here now on Earth that matters the most. So let's find your girls.
She stands slowly. She pulls out her rosary, makes the sign of the cross over the man on the ground, kisses the rosary and tucks it back away. Very well.
Come along. Let's get you cleaned up.
She follows Amar. There's a new determination set on her face amidst the fear and anger and sadness that sits deep in her eyes.
Go to the near the water. Wash yourself. And while there, go ahead, Amar, and you're going to give me mental plus insight. So since you're completely free of hunger right now, so filled, you don't have a hunger dice, the regular. It moves plus.
Excellent. Scrolling back. Where are we with advantages? I am using them like it is going out of style.
I believe you still have a number because I added.
Yes, you're all so generous. Thank you. I see. I'm going to then I'm going to use 2. Oh, excellent. Well, that's nice. I rolled 12.
Excellent. You notice a ship nearby called L'Ancien Berger, and you can see one that there's a small rowboat that has recently kind of been brought up to it that's now attached to it, and there's still a ladder that lowered down for it. And when you lend an ear, you can hear the sound of women's voices, probably kind of crying or being subdued, but sort of being carried on the wind from where that boat.
I think we've found them, sister. Can you swim?
Yes.
Well, I don't mean to be rude, but you might want to strip down for this.
I guess I can't be any more debased than I already have become this evening.
There'll be a lot to unpack once we get them back safely, but yes.
She begins to strip down to her undergarments. I actually don't know what nuns wear under their habits. They freeballing under there?
More habits.
Red lacy lingerie.
No, that's only in my fantasies.
Ooh, mine too. I think at this point, Amar would say, right, I suppose we should make our way over.
Very well. She just kind of follows your lead.
Amar very deftly, probably from years of sailing at this point, and probably figured a way to like waterproof her clothing for as best she can. Just rears back and dives into the water as barely a splash as she lands, and just very quietly, almost like an alligator, just like through the water, kind of coasting as quietly as she can.
Marguerite crouches down on the dock and will dip her toes in and slowly kind of slide into the water and follow behind Amar.
Slip into the water and find one that you don't need to breathe, which was a bit of a surprise, but you find your body is stronger. It doesn't mind the coldness of the water and an ease to the physical labor of swimming. You're not quite as graceful perhaps as Amar, but the two of you eventually make it all the way towards the little rowboat that's on the side, and you climb aboard it. And as soon as you do, you can clearly hear the sound of women coming from below deck. They are crying. Some of them are, whispering words of encouragement to each other. The rest of the boat seems fairly quiet as it sits there, just the creaking of it as it's sawing on the waters. The caving ladder is still there. What would you like to do?
I would kind of pause and look to Marguerite and just say, like an eyes on me, I'm going up the ladder, you find the girls.
I assume I'd have to go up the ladder as well.
Yeah.
To get to where the girls. Okay.
You climb up. I'm not gonna make you make checks to climb up, but as you crest the side, Amar, you can see shapes moving in the darkness. You can see at least two men, and you can tell that they are ghouls. seem to be preparing the ship not to go, but they seem to kind of be locking it down and kind of making sure that no one can sort of climb aboard or whatever. They're locking the side or whatnot. You can attempt, if you want, to move silently and try to get the jump on them. And soon after, as you climb up, Marguerite, you'll move also, and you will see there is a trap door in the floor of this thing that is currently open, and there are stairs that go down. So you can go ahead, both of you. So you're going to make larceny roll. I doubt Marguerite as larceny, but it's going to be on your physical. Now, something you can do, Marguerite, if you want, is you could rouse the blood. Even though your character doesn't know how to do that, it would be kind of an instinctive thing. And what you can do is you can do a blood surge roll. So you do a rouse check, and you can add your blood potency to your physical attribute. So in your case, it would be a +1, but it would.
I'm just gonna use a bunch of advantages and roll a bunch of dice because I have so fucking many.
Perfect. So go ahead and make me a check plus physical, and you, Amar, are going to make plus physical and plus larceny as you attempt to stealthily towards sellers.
Cool. For Varl's sake, I'm gonna use 4 of those advantages. Let's get crazy.
You know how to pin messages, Varl? I assume you do, if you want. These things, and then you could just edit as you go on, but it could be pinned up, and players could. It's just do whatever you want here.
That's a 12 from me.
And an 11 from me.
You're quite surprised as, perhaps through the grace of God, Marguerite appears to actually be stealthier by a smidgen than you are. Perhaps God has lent her many a dice. You make it to the trap door and start going down the stairs. You move through the shadows. I would say that the two men are not close enough that you can attack both at the same time, but one is kind of like further away and seems to be busy kind of locking down one section of the bow, and you can kind of come up to the other one. So how do you want to go about doing this?
So I've got this really cool power called 4 humors, and I just think it's really neat, and I'd like to use it maybe. I feel like with this situation, the one who's like are they both doing like the same amount of work at the moment?
I would say probably, yeah, fairly.
Right. Okay. So then, is one closer? You said one was closer to the hatch and one was not. Is that correct? So the one that's closer to the hatch where Marguerite needs to get to, I'd like to use my 4 humors feature, which means I can manipulate the humors of my victim, inflicting a 2 die penalty on my target, and I'm going to inflict phlegmatics on him to increase his lethargy so that he's just really slow moving, and hopefully it can give her like a shot at just kind of sneakily swooping in there and not having any issues. I don't know if you'll permit me to use that twice, but I would like to if you would.
Okay, so start off by give me a rouse check, okay?
Beans.
The success or fail, sorry.
I say beans and you think I succeeded.
So you'll get 1 hunger, but I will say that you rouse them. And be able to take 2 actions. I'll give you that for sure. So
Could I? Is it possible to distinguish? Must I assign both of them the phlegmatic, or can I assign one bilious, which is poisoning? And that's fun because I'm poisonous.
yeah, sure, you could.
Great. One of them is poisoned, and the one closest to the hatch is now moving slowly, and it's a 2-die penalty.
Perfect, excellent. So you see one of them starts to kind of like, kind of hunches over, and he, like he's got some, a hard girl IBS or something. He's like, and definitely poison. The other one's slowly sort of so. You walk by, Marguerite, and you see the one that's near the hatchery, where it kind of slowly turns towards you and then kind of hesitate and gives out a big yawn and like almost kind of stumbles as he starts to turn, and he sees you and he sees Amar a little bit, and he's reaching for a sword that's at his belt, this cutlass, and he's kind of like moving really slowly and sluggishly, almost kind of like I'll say you can kind of go down the stairs, and as you do, you find yourself in the hold, and you see the 12 girls there. They're not chained themselves, but they're in a kind of little holding pen. As soon as they see you, they start to call out for you and reaching through the bars of this little cell for you. You look around. You don't see keys or anything like that. How would you like to approach trying to open that door?
I think the first thing she does is hushes them. Shh, be quiet, girls. And she'll glance around the room, and when she sees nothing, she'll approach this cell. Did you see a man with keys?
They're like, Monsieur Henrie has them. He's upstairs. He's upstairs. He went back up.
Very well. Stay quiet. Going to get you out of here.
So a couple of them like try to calm down the others. You feel strange. You watch them and you become exceedingly aware of their heartbeat. Become exceedingly aware of their breathing. When you approach and some of them reach out for you, their hands feel so warm on your skin, and you can feel the blood pumping through their bodies as they touch you, and they touch your hands and touch your face and reach out for you, and you find yourself looking at them differently, not just as, these young women that you've been taking care of for a while, but you realize now that they have something that you need. You're not hungry right now, so you need to bite anyway. You've become aware of that.
She very quickly, as they're touching her, after the first two hands, she withdraws and turns, and sharply, as if she would be scolding one of the girls in the home for some misdeed, would, shh, quiet. I'm here to save you. And she's going to move away and kind of very slowly slink back up this ladder to watch what is happening above. Still trying to... She's not entering herself into combat. She is just quietly watching the situation to ensure that Amar does what needs to be done so she can get these girls out of here.
Amar, you have one that's kind of doubled over in pain. The other one is feeling kind of sluggish. You can see that he's drawing his cutlass, and he looks like he might attempt to go down the hatch where Marguerite disappeared. What would you like to do?
It's hilarious that he thinks he could try. The one that's doubled over, I'm gonna just rush past and draw my. I presume that I've got some sort of cutlass or something that I keep on my person.
You had, you hadn't kept the Atlas, right? The sword that Artemisia had given you. Did you keep that back? I don't remember if you had kept that.
I did.
You still have the Tear of Atlas.
Great, I love that. Wifey to the rescue. I would be running and attempting to catch the lethargic one. And much like I said earlier, put a hand on his head and just right across the throat.
You do have lethal body. Fast.
I sure fucking do, much to his chagrin.
So without too much trouble, I think you're going to be able to, and he's already wounded from the humor you used on him earlier, the bilious humor, kind of green around the gills. And, you will grab him without too much of an issue, and your blade, that's beautiful, dark, evil blade that Artemisia gave you, just cuts through that flesh without hesitation, without almost any effort from you. Separated from his shoulders, and blood gushes everywhere all over you. Again, you're not super hungry, so it doesn't draw your attention right now, but without too much of trouble, cut that, and you see the eyes of the other one. As he's kind of keeping an eye on you, his eyes become kind of very wide and afraid, and he's going to kind of lunge toward you, but he is lethargic because of the file that you give him, so I'll give him a disadvantage on his attack, but he
has a 2 die penalty.
Alright, so I'll give him a 2 penalty, not a 2 die penalty since we're using a kind of different system in work, but I'll give him a 2 penalty and disadvantage. He's going to use the 7 instead of the 9, and that's going to be 5. I'll say he has combat, so that's going to make it 6, which is not enough to hit you. So he kind of comes in at you kind of stumbling and kind of moving very slowly, and he gives you this very sort of, very awkward kind of lunge of his sword, and you barely have to make any effort to move aside from it.
I am going to whip around and pommel strike, wallop him right in the back of the skull to render him unconscious. And then I'm going to look about and tie perhaps a heavy sandbag to his feet and just chuck him over the side.
So, Marguerite, you watch all of this as Amar cuts the head off this one and then knocks the other one out and quickly ties ballast to him and sort of pushes him over. And as she does that, you see something move behind her, and you see this long, dark cobra that just sort of slithers out of the shadows right behind Amar. She's kind of looking over the side of the handrail at her handiwork. And you watch, not slowly, but suddenly you watch as this snake, as it approaches Amar, starts to rise and sort of stands up on 2 legs, and in a moment, instead of the snake, you see standing there Monsieur Henrie, who, again, a young, handsome young man that you always thought was maybe a little bit, a little bit sinful in his ways, but certainly not any kind of monster. He'd always seemed so well mannered and just, bit of a fop, but certainly not dangerous. But you see him rise behind Amar. Amar, do you hear the cat, the meowing of the cat?
I hear the little beast.
Amar, you turn around and you find this man standing there right in front of you. He is going to, as you turn and look at him, you see his eyes are those of a snake, and he's kind of swaying in place, and he smiles at you, and he says, now, hush and stay still. And he's going to attempt to dominate you. You can go ahead and roll your d10 plus your mental, and you're going to have to roll on your dice.
I am going to use a night move to... I can't negate that hunger, right? So I've got to... But I will add one so I've got an advantage. Well, that's good that I did that. Scully Francis. Mental? It's just the mental stat?
Yep.
Okay. What did you get? I got 10.
That's very nice. Unfortunately for you, I got a critical. So it's gonna be bad, but you find yourself entranced.
No, never mind. I thought I had something to counter this, but it's for if I roll a messy critical. Never mind.
Fortunately, you do also have Unswayable Mind, only for main version. Mysticals like this one. He latches onto you, and you find yourself completely mesmerized by his eyes and by his presence. You find yourself unable to move. What you see this, Marguerite, I think from where you are, you saw Monsieur Henrie kind of come up behind Amar, and she turned around and in a moment kind of went to raise her sword, but then her arm kind of fell limp to her side, and she's just standing there kind of swaying in front of him as he talking to her, and he reaches out and touches her cheek a little. She seems, her eyes are wide, and she's just kind of staring at him, and Francis, crazy. Would you want to do anything?
Yeah, do I see anything on the deck around me? Any kind of weaponry or something that perhaps could be used as weaponry?
Yeah, I think you would see that there are like these kind of billhook things. Probably kind of a number of them kind of stashed on the side. They're like these wooden poles with a metal spike and a hook at the top of them. That's what they used to kind of reach down over the side to grab things from the water. So I think you would see some of those there for sure.
I would like to try and sneak out of this little spot that I'm tucked away into and grab one of those. If I could. Would you like me to roll another larceny?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Beautiful. I'm going to use...
yeah, I was going to say, I might suggest using some advantages.
I'm going to use 4 again, because I have like 12, so let's fucking go. Get fucked, Henry. That's a 12.
Why do I get the feeling that this would be one of Bones' boyfriends?
I mean, he's kind of pretty.
Hey, as far as we know, he's the ancestor, great-great-grandsire of...
Unfortunately, he's got eyebrows, so I don't know.
But, like, just barely in that, like, very quite French way.
You manage to, with the grace of God, the help of God, you manage to slip by and grab it, and you can see that he's very absorbed. As you approach behind him, you hear him say to Amar, yes, you are the friend of that little bitch of Osiris. I have been meaning to pay you a visit. The two of you, I don't know if she has ever told you, but my great-grandsire and hers do not get along at all. It would be my great pleasure to bring him her head. There are not many of them left, did you know that? Children of Osiris, there are very, very few. We've done a very thorough job, and I intend to continue doing this thorough job with her here, and perhaps I will make you do it for me. What do you think of that, my pretty? And he reaches out to touch your face again, and you can see behind him Marguerite is kind of approaching, somehow by the grace of God, fairly silently with a bill hook in her hand. Go ahead, Marguerite, and
Mhm.
give us a little back roll now. So it's going to be your physical, and you don't have combat, so you're at +3.
Yeah, I'm going to use 4 advantages again. And I'm going to fuck this guy into the next fucking century. Oh yeah, that's a crit, baby.
Woo.
13, let's go. I am aiming like dead center of his back
He
to
is
just run through him like a fucking hot knife.
extremely surprised when you spear him with this bill hook. He screams and tries to turn, but you're kind of holding on to it, and you really can't believe what you've just done. There's blood everywhere, and you're holding on to this thing that's spiked to him, and he turns around, and when he does, you see that his eyes are those of a snake, and his mouth is distended, and you remember it was him who had come up behind you, and he kind of starts turning around and sees to you, and he's like, I should not have given you the gift. And he reaches out and he grabs you by the throat and he pulls you towards him. And as he does, his tongue lashes out. And it's this long snake-like tongue. It lashes out and wraps around your throat and starts to constrict as he's pulling you close. Amar, as soon as he breaks eye contact with you, you kind of come out of it and you see what he's doing. He's got his snake tongue out. It's wrapped around Marguerite's throat and he's pulling her towards him. And he's got this thing caught at him, but it's not wood, it's metal, so it's not gonna paralyze him. But you suddenly, like, the spell breaks and find that you have control again. What would you like to do?
Is there anything aboard that perhaps would be wooden that maybe I could break over my knee and fashion into a stake?
You could, absolutely. I'm sure there's either something kind of flying around, or you could grab this bill hook that he's got in his back and kind of snap part of it in. But however you want to do it.
Yes, I think that's what I'd like to do. And just out of curiosity, would my relentless grasp still be at play? Because is this considered still the same scene?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. That's so fun for me. So yes, I'm going to snap the wooden end of the bill hook off. And just adjacent to where he'd been run through with the metal part, I'm going to run him through with the wooden part.
Let's see if you can score a bullseye. You're going to make me a combat roll. It's going to be your physical plus your combat.
That's fun.
I'll give you advantage because you do have your... Roll that with advantage. You have 1 hunger. So you're going to need...
Uh-huh.
Nice, and I'm sure you have some...
I've got 5, so I'm going to go ahead just because I'm just going to use 3, because why the fuck not? I like rolling dice.
Fuck him up.
Oh. What happens again when I get a 10 on the hunger die?
Messy critical.
Delicious. Okay, so I got 16, and I'm going to use Controlling the Beast. Once per session, the Lamia can thwart the beast by converting a combat messy critical into a critical. So that's what I'm going to do.
Well played. Lamias, you reach out and you spear him with your stick, but you realize that you kind of overshot it. Like, you put way too much into it, your lance and everything, and you realize that he's pulling Marguerite to him really quickly. And in a moment, you realize you're stabbing so hard that it's going to go through him and will probably impale her also. It's going to kind of like be pulled up to him. And so at the last second, relying on your Lamia training, you kind of angle the thing and sort of shoulder him so that he spins away. And as you spin him and kind of feel the stake go through his heart and you feel him paralyzed, Marguerite comes sort of barreling right at you. And if you'll allow me, Game Master, Marguerite comes barreling at you, and you grab her, and she almost goes overboard. And you're kind of standing there on the edge and like one arm around her, kind of holding her just aloft from falling in the water. He's falling on the other side, paralyzed. His tongue is kind of in between, and you just sort of flick your sword up and cut his tongue, and he flops over onto the ground. And there's this moment, framed by the moon, where you look like dancers, then you're dipping Marguerite out over the sea, out over the river, sort of just holding her, and then you pull her back in, and quickly sort of the tongue that's wrapped up.
Did Marguerite just lose her virginity?
I think.
Pirate queen, you know.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, Marguerite, like, instantly, without hesitation, rushes over to the man and starts just rooting around in his pockets looking for the keys.
Which you find without too much trouble. He's like the kind of jutting out of his chest, and the one that you put in the piece of back.
Well, after she does that, Amar will just full-blown step on his face and like break it inwards and then just kick him over into the water.
And on that note, Big Jim Slade Gaming, thank you so much for the raid. The Big Jim.
Big Jim?
You crack his head and kick him over and flops off into the sea. Things like meanwhile, you run downstairs, Marguerite. The girls are all clamoring for you. I've managed to kind of get them to calm down a little bit, and you find you have a little bit of difficulty. You come in and they're very excited, and some of them are crying, and you're covered in blood, and some of them are panicking, and you find that you have this ability. As you start talking to them, more than ever, they kind of look at you and kind of latch onto you. And you have this ability now called talk. So if you would like to go ahead and give me a social plus insight roll. If you for all them.
Yeah. We're just gonna use one of my advantages here, just for funsies, because I have so fucking many. Yeah, that's 15. I think we're good. I think we're solid.
And you start talking to them as you're opening the doors and trying to find the right key. And you talk to them, and you notice that they're staring at you with rapt. Some of them fall to their knees, looking at you. Patrick, feel, or playing Vampire the Master, you feel this sense of presence kind of emanate from you as these 12 women in this cage sort of like entirely wrapped attention. It's a little unsettling. Incredibly effective as you manage to kind of open the door and you find them very docile and very sort of happy. What do you do once you...
Sister Marguerite kicks into like full effect, and it's very like getting them in a single file line and like marching their asses upstairs and back to the house. Like she's like wasting no time with this. She wants to get them back to safety off this ship.
You very quickly managed to return to La Maison Saint-Gabriel with the girls in tow. And you find Asenath waiting for you there, and she's kind of kept the others calm, and Cerise is there, and Mama Monique, and when you arrive, they bring the girls in, they make sure everyone's alright, they check in, no one's been injured, no one's been hurt. Asenath sees you and automatically realizes what's happened and kind of gives you a look, Amar, of like, what's the situation?
I think that Sister Marguerite here might need a little rest. We'll get the girls into bed, and perhaps you and I can debrief a little.
Eventually, you will get everyone kind of settled down. And just as you're about to go and talk with Asenath, you notice that Marguerite's... You look out the window and you can tell that it's almost magic out. And without a doubt, you kind of realize, Watson, climb up to find there Sister Margaret standing there.
I don't think she's standing, actually.
Tell me.
Yeah, what you see is Sister Marguerite had gone to her chambers. She cleaned herself up. She changed into a fresh habit, and she is prostrated before the eastern skies. Her hands are clasped together in front of her. She's looking up to the sky, and she's whispering prayer under her breath, asking for God's forgiveness for this affliction, for this curse, and that perhaps he would find it in his heart to forgive her this sin and let her into the kingdom of heaven.
May I join you?
She kind of breaks from her prayer and looks behind her, casting a glance over her shoulder. Yes, you may.
Thank you. And I will walk up and sit cross-legged next to her. You know, it's quite dangerous for you to be up here now.
Marguerite's body relaxes back onto her heels. Her hands fall and fold into her lap over the rosary. Yes, well, I thought that maybe if I asked God's forgiveness, then what I'm about to do will not be a sin. Perhaps he can see my anguish, my plight, that I did not ask for this.
You may be obscured from God. The darkness has been my path for many centuries. I'm quite old. But every time I felt perhaps I may not be able to go on, some light has found me. My sweet love, Artemisia, wherever she may be in this wild world. And then Asenath. And now you. Your love and dedication for these young women, even in such a dark place as this. Snakes like Henrie are everywhere, besieging every road we might walk on. And many of our sisters have not the skill nor power to defend themselves. But we, you and I, and Asenath, we are cursed, yes, but with this curse of eternal darkness comes a spark of light, a flicker of life and love. It is that bond that we have with each other, the promise we make each other, that while cursed, we will not allow others to suffer when we can help it. And I imagine the vows you've taken to God or the church. When all is said and done, that's exactly what they reflect. Helping those who need it. And what a shame it would be to lose a light like yours.
When I went down to that hold and I saw those girls, I saw them differently. But I still loved them. I loved them as I always have. But I can see the monster inside of me, and that frightens me. But perhaps there is truth in your statement. If I can keep that monster at bay, then I can protect my girls and keep that light alive. I can see in your eyes you have your own light in this Artemisia you mentioned. Perhaps then I should make a deal with you that I will follow my light if you will follow yours. And together we can keep our flames alive. Hold our promises to each other and our sisters, and even if God cannot see me anymore in this darkness, I will keep my promise to him as well.
You're right. Here I am, having saved you, but quite frankly, you're the one who saved me.
They saved each other, I think.
What is that saying from that dizzy British fool, the theatre one? What love dares, that love attempts. I suppose we go careening into each other once again. May I ask a favor?
Of course.
Tell Asenath thank you. Tell her I had to go.
And where shall I tell her that you have gone?
I've gone to kindle the flame once more.
Good. I will let her know.
Farewell, sister. Good luck.
To you as well.
And Amar slips away off the roof, and you, Marguerite, take one last look towards the east, and you can see a very thin red line on the horizon, heralding the coming of the sun. And as you see it, you wonder if you'd ever get to see it again, or if this is the very last time, but you remind yourself that to worry about your own plight is not what God wants. there are many others that need you right now, so that is what you need. And you turn and find your way back downstairs to where the VtM are waiting for you, and as for you, Amar, you slip off. In a moment you'll find a place to rest for the day before you can begin your travels at night. Try and find Artemisia again. Fortified by Asenath's teaching, you manage to stay outside and watch as this little red line of the sun becomes orange and then yellow and the sky lightens. Then just before it becomes a little too much light for your eyes. You find a dark place, but you carry with you that last remaining light that you saw, still burning in Marguerite before she turned away from you. And so, my friends, we end tonight's session